Today, me and Tuck are going to share with you one thing you can do that will greatly increase the health of your plants and your overall harvests. Let's go! Check out the health of these plants. Come here. Look at the thick, glossy texture of this Yucca Savoy. Check out the color of this bronze mignonette lettuce. And look at the vibrance of this cabbage here. Beautiful. Look at all these plants here. When I first started growing, my plants didn't always look like this though. When I began, my plants, they were lacking, to say the least. I would start my seeds in a good potting mix. The plants would come up and look super healthy, like you see right here. And then a couple weeks after transplanting, they would lose their color and the growth would slow down. My issue was I wasn't using a fertilizer to supply my plants with the nutrition they need to thrive. Let me show you what I do now to have healthy plants that look like this. Tuck is hanging out next to the plants, just protecting everything like he always does. In general, I use an all-purpose dry organic fertilizer, but I do use some additional additives and I kind of adjust some things dependent on some specific plants. To start out, after I have my beds filled with soil, I take my fertilizer and broadcast it over the soil. Then I go through and mix that fertilizer into the top 4 or so inches of the soil. Now, all I have to do is just grab my plant and transplant it into the ground, or just grab a seed, drop it in, and the plants will have the nutrition they need to grow well and also fight off pests and disease. If you didn't fertilize your whole bed, what you can do is just fertilize when you transplant out. Just add a bit of fertilizer to the bottom of the hole, mix that in, then plant and water it in. You could also just transplant your crop, then spread fertilizer around the base of the plant and mix that into the top few inches of the soil, then water it in. Or you can mix in some fertilizer into the top few inches of the soil before planting your seed. Using an organic fertilizer is nice because you won't have to worry about burning your plants like you could if you're using a synthetic fertilizer. Plants like squash and cabbages are heavy feeders. If you don't provide them with enough nutrition, then they will not only grow poorly, but also they'll be more susceptible to pests and disease issues. The way I see it is, if you're happy and you're healthy, you're more liable to fight off pests and disease issues than if you're sick and unhealthy. To keep our plants growing healthy throughout the season, and especially when heading into production, I suggest you top dress the plants. This means adding some fertilizer around the base of your plant and mixing it into the top inch or so. This will give them that added boost that they need to give you the production you are hoping for. You don't have to use an organic dry fertilizer like one of these two here, but it's what works best for me, and I think the results speak for themselves. Last year, this bed was filled with super healthy plants, and I pulled out so much food. Big, healthy cabbages, purple ones like you see here, so good. Loads of peppers, and also so much more. If you want, you could use a liquid fertilizer like fish fertilizer. I don't have much against this besides the fact that one, it smells bad, and also you have to come out more regularly and feed your plants, so it's a bit inconvenient. Another thing is I like to be able to come out and just grab fresh snacks for my plants just like this. When you use something like a fish emulsion fertilizer, then you're gonna be like pouring it on your plants. That's not something I would just want to eat fresh without washing. When I use this dry organic fertilizer, I can just come out and grab a spinach and eat it just fresh like this. So good. This guy's been out here working hard. He wants a fresh snack, so let's grab him one. He likes the stems of these mustard greens here because they're filled with water. He likes just chomping down on them. And I think it's so cute hearing him crunching it. What do you think, boy? If you love seeing Tuck in the videos, spam some hearts down low for the young king. We'll let him snack on this. Me and Tuck want to mention there's a limited time sale going on for our most popular metal raised bed, the 9-in-1, this one right here. It's the perfect time to grab your raised bed over at teamgrow.us. You could also just make your own compost and mix that into the soil. That will add nutrition, or make some compost tea with it, and that will feed your plants. But for me back here, with how big of a garden I have, it would take a lot of compost to be able to feed all the plants back here. Also, if you're a first-year gardener or a new gardener, maybe you didn't plan for it and you don't have compost made. So making your own compost is a great option, but it takes time and it also takes some added effort. Some people prefer using a synthetic fertilizer, but me and Tuck would rather use an organic one. We think one of the main benefits to growing your own food is you can do it organically and provide yourself with the highest quality food on the planet, fresh, organic, and as local as you can get it. When it comes to specific plants, me and Tuck will make some adjustments to our fertilizing. For instance, lettuce you see right here. Look how healthy that looks. Lettuce we're growing just for the leaves. So using an all-purpose fertilizer is great, but what me and Tuck like to do is to add a boost when transplanting. We'll sprinkle around the plant some blood meal. This is a 12-0-0, so it's essentially almost like pure nitrogen. What this will do is will really help the leaf growth. And since we're just growing lettuce for the leaves, it's an ideal added amendment to grow healthy, beautiful lettuce like you see here. One thing to note is we wouldn't want to add something like this blood meal when we're planting something like peas or beans. Peas, like you see here, and beans are nitrogen fixers. They take atmospheric nitrogen, convert it into nodules, and then store that on their roots. So they can basically get their own nitrogen. If you take a fertilizer that's high in nitrogen, like the blood meal, and sprinkle it around these plants, then that's going to be too much nitrogen. It's going to actually make these plants focus on the production of leaves instead of on the production of peas or beans. So sometimes even too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. If you want to get really detailed, you can adjust how you feed specific plants at specific times. For instance, when it comes to tomatoes, I start off with using an all-purpose fertilizer. I'll mix that into my soil. Then, if you want to, when first transplanting out your tomato plant, you could add some blood meal. What this will do is will help that tomato to grow really quick and a lot of leaf production. Then when you start to see some of the blossoms starting to form, what you could do is grab some bone meal and add that. This is basically just phosphorus, and that phosphorus helps with the flower production and also the fruit production. So based on the time of the plant, you can kind of adjust when you're giving it some additional amendments to the all-purpose fertilizer that you should use as a base. Another option is if you want to get some plant-specific blends of fertilizer. For instance, this Happy Frog fertilizer, this is blended specifically for tomatoes. So it's kind of a good option to throw in, but I've used just regular all-purpose fertilizer in the past, and that's worked fantastic for me. This is just another option if you want to just get a little more specific. And when it comes to my potatoes too, you could do the same thing and just use an all-purpose fertilizer. That works fine. But last year I used this turbo tuber fertilizer and I got some really nice results with it. Overall, I think just using an all-purpose organic fertilizer is the way to go, especially for relatively new gardeners. It's easy, it's convenient, it works great for companion planting like you see in here. The fact that you can feed all these plants essentially the same thing and get this level of production is a great thing. The idea that adding some fertilizer is what will increase your plant's harvest is quite simple, but oftentimes this simple, obvious solution is the right solution. Provide your plants with enough nutrition, adequate amount of water, and protect them from the pests, and there's no reason you shouldn't be harvesting more food this year than you ever have, and your harvest just shouldn't be massive. So grab some JP Secret Stuff, use an insect netting, and when it heats up, put some mulch down to help keep that water in, and soon you'll have an oasis in your backyard harvesting massive amounts of food you can't even keep up with. Some of the radishes look like they're starting to get ready. We'll see if Tuck wants one. Hey Tuck, want a snack, boy? He's lounging. We'll grab one of these fresh radishes here. This is the Zlata radish. So they're not huge yet, but nice color, nice size. This thing's gonna be full of water. We'll take him over to Tuck and see if he wants a bite of it. This guy is, he's not sleeping on the job. He's just relaxing in the shade, right boy? Want a snack, boyo? Want some radish? This guy loves his fresh radishes. They're full of water, so he likes getting a nice snack of them. Let this guy snack on these radish. What do you think, pretty good? It's gotten hot out here relatively quickly, so he's having a little bit of tough time keeping up with the heat, but now you can see he's really starting to crunch. It's nothing like eating some fresh radishes. I might have to grab one for myself. We've got a plane going over the top. That's what happens when the weather gets nice around here. We're relatively close to the beach, so the beach weather is coming in. The plants are looking fantastic, and just make sure you're out there taking care of your plants, giving them some fertilizer, staying on top of things. And when it comes to fertilizing your plants and feeding them, it's always better to do it before they need it rather than after they need it, so they can continue that healthy growth. So the JP three-prong approach, I would say, is adequate fertilizer, a nice insect netting to prevent the bugs from coming in, then you don't have to deal with them, and then also some good mulch that will help retain the moisture. It's pretty easy after that. You'll be raking in harvest and you'll be creating your own backyard oasis that you're actually happy to come out to. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got something out of it. Me and Tuck had a blast out here. Looks like he finished that radish. Pretty good, huh, boy? He loves his brassicas. He loves his root crops. The carrots are still a little small, but in a short amount of time, he'll be able to pull some carrots fresh out of the ground, which is his favorite thing to do in the garden. We had a lot of fun. We hope you got some value out of this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And also, if you want to join Team Grow and be part of the team, hit the Join Now button right down low. We also wanted to send a thank you to one of our new channel members, Scott Martinez. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for having your hand in everything we're doing out here. Overall, we're excited for the season. The garden's coming in beautifully, and soon we'll take you through and show you how everything is looking. Till then, Tuck and James will be back again real soon. We